What's up guys, Shawnthebro here, and in today's episode of the Fighting Game Tutorial series, we're going to be going over allowing combos to continue even at the end of a round. So for example, if I come in my game and I skip to the fight, when I am attacking my opponent, we have this combo counter that now pops up. The combo counter continues as long as we attack the character and they can't return from their stunned state, or return from the air. If it's an air combo and they land on the ground, then the combo has finished. In a lot of fighting games, you'll see that you can continue your combo even after they have lost all their health. So they are defeated, but it allows the chance for a player to keep their combo going and honestly get a little bit of practice in, but as well just kind of flex on the opponent for how good of a combo they can perform at the end here. So right now my combo is basically just me mashing the light attack button, but you know, however you string your combos together is perfectly fine. In this case, when I keep mashing my light attack, the character is defeated, but I can keep my combo going. Once the combo ends, then we get the yellow circle up here in the top left saying that we have beat the opponent. Whereas previously the combo would end and we would get that circle immediately upon the opponent losing all their health. As I was mentioning, the air combos also factor in here. So let's say we have the character at this point where they're about to be defeated and we launch them into the air. They aren't defeated initially, they're actually defeated when they land. So we could then follow up that launch with a attack and trigger an air combo, and we would allow the combo to continue and finish instead of completing the round. Before we get started, I want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube membership and Patreon supporters. Thank you guys for all the love and support. I am so incredibly happy that you guys are experiencing this journey with me. It's a really fun one, and I'm glad you guys are here to see it. If you want to get caught up in the Fighting Game Tutorial series before you watch this episode, you can check out everything we've done. We are on episode 168, so we're very far along, but still we have a really long way to go. I'll leave the playlist right here. Alternatively, if you don't care about that, but you do care about this combo system, I'll link you to the first episode of the combo system right here. We're really nailing a lot of it down and it's coming together nice. So if you want to follow it completely, there's the first episode. So if we go to our fighter template character, and specifically our fighter template character CPP, we want to scroll down to where our take damage function is. For me, that is right here. At the start of take damage, we were creating a boolean local to this function that's called is defeated from hit. And we were determining if the damage dealt from this attack had defeated the character that was receiving the damage. Up to this point, this is good, and we still want to check to see if the character was defeated from the hit or not, but we don't always want to just stop the game, stop the round. Sometimes we want it to play out a little bit. This will also factor in for ties. We don't want to just automatically defeat the opponent, make one lose and the other win if attacks were traded and both characters are defeated. We're not there yet, but just know we're opening up our logic. We don't want to always just defeat the one character when they take damage. Let's scroll down to the bottom of this function, which is where we actually check for it. We do set it in a few spots throughout this function, such as here, and here, and even here. But what we're actually looking for today is where we check against it. This check is what we really care about today, because we want to make sure that we set the player health to be 0. This is just in case the player health went below 0, we're defaulting it to 0, or if the character has some sort of passive heal, or maybe there's a modifier in the fight that's healing the character, we still want them to be defeated, so we're just setting the player health to be 0. We know they were defeated at this point. Then, we were making sure that the game mode was a game mode where there were rounds. That way we could call the round 1 function and pass in the other player. Since this character is being defeated from this attack, we know that the other player was the one that won that round. With that said, if we do this, the round ends immediately upon the character being defeated from the damage, because the other player has been accredited for winning the round. Instead, if we don't award the victory to the other player right away, then the character that is attacking can finish their combo. I've added an if statement in here now to make sure that there is another player, and if there is the other player, that their combo counter is not equal to 0. In this case, since we do want the other character to be able to continue their combo if they're in one, I was only allowing the game mode to call round 1 if the other player exists and if their combo counter is 0, because if they're not in the middle of a combo, then the round can still end. So for example, if there are environmental stage hazards or something similar to that could damage the character, well, the character that is taking the damage did not receive a hit from the other player, so thus the other player is not in a combo, so we can still call round 1 here. Adding this if statement will allow the other player to continue their combo, because if they're in a combo, then we're not automatically ending the round. So essentially all we're adding to the take damage function is right here, this if statement. And we're just going to surround the logic where we were calling round 1. Now let's scroll down to our end combo function. So end combo is the function that we set up. So either the opponent exits their stun state, and thus the combo has ended, or if it's an air combo, they have landed on the ground, in which case the combo has ended. Either way, end combo gets called. Well, once the combo is over, if the round has not already been lost, we want to make sure that we give the round victory to the opponent. So in here, we were resetting our hit stun decay modifier, our combo counter, our last combo rating that we received. And at this point, we want to see if the other player is defeated, because in this case, the character ending their combo is the character that did the damage. So we're not going to say the other character won. We're going to say this character won. This character is the one that defeated the other. So I've added an if statement down below here, which basically mimics exactly what we were doing in take damage at the end of it. Where we're checking to make sure that there is another player, because we're going to check their health and see if it's less than or equal to 0.0f. If it is, we know they've been defeated. You could make a boolean and check against it like we do in take damage, but it's really not required. If the other player is at 0.0f, we can assume that they have been defeated. And so we do need to make sure that we have a cast to our game mode, because again, the round 1 function is within the game mode, and we need to make sure that our game mode even has rounds. You could copy it from the take damage function, but just so everyone's on the same page, I basically make a variable called auto game mode, which just automatically assigns the type of this to be a fighter template game mode. Then I cast the world get authority game mode, so basically get the game mode from the server, and cast that to a fighter template game mode. And if this cast succeeds, this variable will not be null, which means that we'll go into the if statement. From there, we can then use game mode and call the round 1 function, but this time we're not going to pass in other player. Remember, we're the ones ending the combo, so we are the ones that did the damage. So we want to pass in this, or basically this fighter template character is the one that won the round. Now after that, it's very simple. If we go and play our game, we can skip everything. We will get the desired result. Again, watch the round counters, which are the little circles below the health bar. If I am attacking my opponent, doing all sorts of damage, I can get him down to the last hit. And as long as I am in the middle of my combo, I haven't won the round yet. It's awarded once the combo ends. Hey guys, I decided to organize something a little bit after I record the episode just to clean this up a little bit. So we have a few areas in the take damage function where we use if other player, because we want to make sure that the other player is valid before we actually use it. Of course, this is important. But some places we were using it and some we weren't. So starting with the other player determined frame advantage HUD line, which is right above the if statement that we were using today, the if is defeated from hit. We did not check for validity of other player here, but we did check it in the if statement that we added today, where we were checking the combo counter to see if we need to end the round now or wait until the combo is finished. This really doesn't make a lot of sense because this other player would crash the game if that was an issue, so it wouldn't have even reached this other check. So I've just added an if other player check right here, and I've encompassed the rest of the function. I have also split this logic up a little bit, so I'm just going to go over it really quickly with these changes. So I'm checking to see if other player. So if other player is not null, there is another player. If that's the case, then we can do our other player determine frame advantage HUD. If not, we can just ignore it. Okay, we don't check for other player anywhere else up here that was falling under where I had added it in that episode. So the frame advantage would cause a crash. So we just want to make sure that it is within the if other player check. Then we go to our if is defeated from hit, which is what we were editing in this episode. We still set our player health to be 0. And we now check if the other player's combo counter is equal to 0. If it is, we do our standard cast to the game mode and use the game mode round 1 function, passing in other player. You'll notice I took out the if other player and section in here because we're already checking for if other player here, so we don't need to double check within this if statement. So I eliminated that, and now we have a simpler if statement within the is defeated from hit if statement. But there is an additional note because of this. Since we are checking for if other player now, we want to have an else. There are some things that we may want to do regardless on if there's another player or not. So if we were defeated from a hit and we're in a mode without another player, so we died from a stage hazard, or maybe if time depletes in that mode we take damage, we still want to check if we're defeated from the hit, and even I want to set the player health back to 0. Make sure that that's 0. I also still want to include the damage materials. So whether there's another player or not, we can still actually call our change damage materials and show the bloodied or beaten up model or mesh of our character. That's what we were doing here. But then I went a step farther and realized, well, this doesn't really have to be in this if or else. We just want to do it regardless. So I wanted to remove it from here. And so now I have if other player and I have else, where we still check for is defeated from hit, but we don't really do anything. We just default the player health to 0. And then after this logic, I want to have this if statement that we had, but I don't want it to be an else because there was no reason for it to be an else in the first place. It was an else because we were saying if we weren't defeated from hit, we would do this logic, but really we don't even have to do that. We can just change to the bloodied or beaten up materials regardless if we were defeated from that hit or not. So I'm just going to change this if statement. I'm just going to remove the if player health greater than 0 and just check to see if the player health is less than 0.5. Once it gets called the first time, it doesn't ever get reset until the next match, so it's really not a problem if we just let it go. And for my own liking, I'm going to change it to 0.15 so that it's closer to when you're really low on health, not just halfway through. If you did want the round counter to update right away when you had beaten the opponent, but you don't want to actually end the round, you do want to have this logic that we're implementing in today's episode, don't worry. When we go over ties in the very near future, we're going to go over this sort of round ended but not over state. So basically the opponent that has lost won't be able to take any actions, but we can still combo them. At that point we can increment our round counter and everything, but we need this sort of middle state between the two rounds, and I'm going to be implementing that in that episode. So you can go over updating this behavior to work exactly how you want it if it's not quite there yet when we do that. This will still be necessary, so you don't have to take this out or change it right now. Just know that I'm going to leave it alone for now, but it is something we will be covering in the future. And anyway, guys, that's actually it. It's a very simple episode, but it is, again, a fun one. I really like being able to do combos at the end of my round. If you enjoyed or this helped you make your combos extend past the round victory, then feel free to subscribe. It will help me out a ton, and we just reached 7,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for all the love and support. I am so incredibly grateful. Again, I want to give out another huge shout out to my YouTube membership and Patreon members and supporters. Thank you guys for making this series possible and for continuing to support me. Can't wait to see what we build together. If you had any issues with this tutorial or any of my tutorials, feel free to join the Discord community. It is completely free, and I would be happy to help you with any issues that you ran into. Anyway, guys, that's all I got, so thank you so much for watching. I'm Shawnthebro, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.